Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to look at Dehancer. Specifically, I was invited to a BTS shoot by a DP called Simeon Gaia, great guy that I've known for a while now, and it was an invitation for a narrative or short narrative that he was DPing, and it was just a good opportunity to go along, so I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to test Dehancer, which I've been meaning to do for a little while now. And because I use Resolve and Premiere, and I know sometimes edit in Premiere and grade in Resolve. Now, with Dehancer, it offers me film emulations, a very filmic and cinematic look, which is obviously for a lot of filmmakers, YouTubers or content creators alike, want to be able to do fairly quickly. I already created a few clips from the BTS, and YouTube hasn't been too kind, so if you do want to go and take a look, please do view and drop any comments or thoughts on it. I will be playing it here and probably will be more in depth than what you will see on the previous video, but it was just a short test. However, we will be diving in deeper in this video, just exploring what I did and, you know, whether or not it adds any value to it. So let's dive in and take a look at Dehancer. For the purposes of this, I've literally just shown Dehancer without and with, as indicated up here, and this little green dots. Before I continue, I wanted to say that I had shot this on Anamorphic's spherical and also a tilt lens, a lovely TT Artisan lens, which I've quite enjoyed. First up was using the 24-105 and EF lens, and this was just shooting spherical to see what just general BTS, which I'm sure we're all very used to, shooting on the Lumix S5 IIX. And also in the mix, when did I get onto? Oh yeah, so this is one I got onto the Lumix with the 75mm 1.8. And this is an Anamorphic with a Suo 1.25x squeeze. So I do believe the general squeeze factor is around 1.6625. Obviously you can see a bit of the vignette using that, but again, it gives you a lovely anamorphic feel to it, which I like to go for a cinematic feel, and Anamorphic definitely gives you that. But bringing it in, before I actually got onto it, I did do some corrections and just general playing around within Premiere. Okay, so this was the tilt. It's not a tilt shift, just a tilt. In actual fact, I really did like the look that it gave. Just like Anamorphics give you a very specific look to it, this tilt lens, if you're not familiar with it, gives a very interesting kind of photography look. You can see how much of a slither of focus it picks out. Now, I'm not going to explain it properly, so I'm not going to bother, but you can have a look at it in your own time if you want to see what a tilt lens is. This is Dehancer. So you've got the film, which you have a whole selection here. For some reason, it wouldn't, and I don't know, it's just on this particular project, it didn't allow me to change, but I did have it open in another project and was able to tweak it. I didn't use any of these, I don't believe. Didn't want to taint it too much. Like, what you just saw didn't take me much more than what you saw me flick through some of those and just play and tweak with in order to be able to get just a very quick look. And I didn't spend more than, say, 5 to 10 minutes playing with it. So to go from something that's relatively clean and to get something that just gives you that, you can tell that's just the softness, the grain, even the color that it gives you, definitely moves you into a less clinical feel. So going from something like that, which is a little bit sharp, a little bit cleaner, still like the colors on both, but yeah, it feels more vintage, it feels softer, more tactile. The grain just allows more texture. So again, between those two shots, it's just grittier, a bit moodier. But it's not just the grain and the film emulation, it's what it's doing to the colors and deepening some of the colors and the way that and I don't know the ins and outs of how Dehancer works. I have used Resolve and when some of its film emulations in there, but I do like it. It just feels nicer. And some of these things I wouldn't necessarily do, and it's not even throughout, because I wasn't, again, grading for a specific look. It was more experimenting to see various looks and feels that you would get. So something that would look, you know, it's clean, clinical, but with it on top of it. Definitely has something to it. Even when using a spherical, and I believe this 24 to 105 using the Sigma adapter, it just gives you something more to work with. You know, one of the things that people seem to think that you needed faded blacks, but I often find film has quite deep blacks, and people forget that there is a fair amount of contrast in film. It seemed to become popular with years ago. I think it was more to do with Instagram, people having faded blacks and recreating some kind of supposed filmic look, which had its time and place, but I think people are almost going back to having a bit more contrast in their images. Yeah, so I think even without going for a cinematic, you know, anamorphic lens set, even with a old spherical glass, it will still give you something that is more than just a clinical feel. And in a space of 5 minutes, you're just going from something quite ordinary to something that just gives you that vintage feel. So moving on to some of the anamorphic lenses, this is a 150 anamorphic T2.9. Now already this will give you a very nice cinematic feel to it. And yes, I'm only shooting BTS, but why not make it something special? So going from that, which again, no complaints, it almost feels quite plastically without having that texture on. It suddenly feels so, and again, I'm not sure if the grain will shine through on this, and I'm literally using OBS to screen capture, so we shall see what how it comes out. I think it might also be slowing things down a touch, but yeah, still, I think I might reduce the size of that grain, potentially. It's the film grain, and I'll get a bigger, well, with a 65, the grain will be smaller. So, yeah. You can see that already. So it's finer texture. So if I take that off, it's there, and with it, whereas if I was to go down to 8mm, it will be large. So, and also the ISO, so even 8mm, and you were to go for a high ISO, boom, it's like a digital camera, it's going to look very noisy. So a 65 will give you a finer, and there you go, and the ISO is lower. There will be times when you might want to go a bit larger or smaller, but it depends on what it is you're doing. Actually, one thing to be aware of when you're trying to make adjustments to grain, you should probably do it, I would imagine, at 100%. So it may soften your image down a little bit, but one thing which is nice with the Sue images is that it is a very sharp lens. So it kind of helps when you're softening down in post, that if your lens is already too soft or not sharp enough, it's an added step. So yeah, it's just lovely texture all throughout. So what are my thoughts on this? It was a short experiment. However, I thought that it was fast to use. Just within, like I said, a couple of minutes of never using this before, once I'd installed, instantly it's giving you something to work with. It's increasing the visual value or the visual language from the point of installing to spending a few minutes playing with the plugin for a very short time. And for the first time, I was quite happy with creating a look using the film emulations, even though I didn't touch things like the bloom and, variation and other aspects that it has to offer. It was very quick and instinctive to be able to just get something to carve a bit of a look to it. And I think having a fast turnaround, especially on a project which, whether it's paid or even if it's unpaid, the creative energy that you would have to want to play with it just kind of takes away a bit of the software and the grime of going through learning something and or having to go through many steps to get something that's usable. There is something I would like Dehancer to improve upon, and that is, or would be, the interface. I think the UI could improve. The UI is functional, it does everything you need it to, but it could be easier in selecting some of the film emulations. Maybe it could be a bit more graphical, i.e. maybe show you what the looks would be without applying it. There could be some other things that they could come up with just to make the ease of navigating and just make it a bit more fun. The software itself is creating a tactile cinematic feel, but using it still feels quite digital and could do with some finessing over time. Having said that, I did already mention it's functional, it does what you need to do, and it does it without getting in the way or hindering you. So I think that's all pluses, just with a nice to have. Now, I have been shooting a short documentary, and I think Dehancer may be a fantastic use case for that. I will be, or have been, shooting over the last couple of months, and it won't be until early next year, or into mid next year, should I say. However, I would like to play with it. I would normally do everything in Resolve, but I think this may be a nice use case to see if if Dehancer will be able to do what I need it to do. And because I will want to be able to be playing and refining as I go whilst I'm editing, I think it's the perfect maybe long-term use case. However, I will be using it, I'm sure, and talking about it in some of my other videos, so watch this space. My channel at the moment hasn't really been into plugins and extras like that, so I'm not sure how the user audience will respond. But if you do like it, please do let me know in the comments if you have any questions or thoughts about using it, and if you had any experiences with it, and if I'm doing something completely wrong, also please let me know. I'm sure I will take some time to do some tutorials, but I wanted to see what it would be like without any form of knowledge about this software, how easy and intuitive it would be. I hope that was useful for you. It was a quick experiment on my side using Dehancer for the first time, and I feel like it really does elevate a project, and I would be interested to see what you think. I'm aware I've not delved too deeply, but hopefully you can see some possibilities. In this case it was BTS, but I could easily see myself using it, like I mentioned, in a doc or a short narrative and even corporate work. So I think there is legs to this. I think I'm going to enjoy it over the next couple of months, because anything that can elevate the look and not take too long, and that you can use to just bring about a more visual aesthetic, especially something that's tactile with the film emulations, I'm all for that. By the way, this is the Blazar 50mm 1.8 Apex, and although they have their new range of Mantis lenses, this one's been out a little while and I think people have been sleeping on it. So it's an autofocus lens, and I'm testing it and have been testing it, so that too will be coming out hopefully on the channel to see. I have been waiting to try it. I'm shooting full frame at the moment, as well as testing the Lumix S5 2X's MP4 Lite, just for this, not for anything else. I just wanted to see in an interview, not an interview, but in a piece to camera, if the codec would be enough, because I think my hard drive will thank me for it, and I heard that people have been using it for these types of things and it's supposed to be useful. So if the bitrate's too low and it's trash, then obviously I won't be using it, but for this being a real use case scenario, I thought I would give it a go. Anyway, that's all from me, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts and seeing you all on the next one. Bye now.